2:30.
No. I'm a scotch and chocolate.
Okay. Alright. Maggie said you don't have to be there till 2:30.
Sweet.
It's just you guys. He's done your AV setup with you.
Yeah, yeah, a million times.
Alright, welcome to my least favorite thing to do at cons.
Talk.
Panels. Oh, I love talking.
I was being sarcastic.
Panels are the one time I feel like I have nothing interesting to talk about.
Cookies don't have any peanut butter.
No.
It's okay.
No, I made sure they did.
Okay.
There are no peanuts in it. Said cookie.
Surprised I put peanuts in it, because then I could leave. I will be poisoning myself to go back to my own bed. That's not true. I wouldn't go to bed.
No, you wouldn't.
You should eat a peanut butter cup and run away.
I wasn't. One time when I was young, I was like, what if I took a little bit of peanut butter and like coated it in plastic wrap and then like sealed that plastic wrap with some kind of like hardened sugar syrup thing, and then I would eat it, and then it would like release in my stomach, and I would get sick, but I wouldn't have to taste the peanuts, which is the part that hurts the most.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the part that's worse.
Wait, were you the kid
I hate
that
school a lot.
said, screw it, I can't take it anymore, ate a peanut butter cup, and then stabbed himself with an EpiPen?
No. My allergy isn't that bad.
Yeah, you don't use an EpiPen, dude. It's not like.
If it required like hospitalization, that would not be on the books of Ferris Bueller-esque mischief.
I've seen him react when he has peanuts, because there was an accidental situation at TFF a couple of years ago where there was peanuts in an enchilada. Yeah.
Peanuts in an enchilada.
Chicken enchilada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had like ground peanuts in its
Oh, no.
its sauce or something. And your mouth tingled, and then you went to the bathroom for half an hour.
And then I came back and I went back to that.
And you threw up on the way back.
Threw up on the street.
And then you came back, and people thought you were actually just drunk, so they started giving you more drink. Realizing you were actually very
Look,
sick.
I bounced back.
You did.
Just hurts a little bit for a day. Then we're fine. One time, I was eating peanuts. Like, what? There's so many
This panel
stories.
is going to be nothing about peanuts. Now.
Well, it's Tales from the Road.
This is from the road. Well, it's from my house.
Yeah, because some of the best tales are when you eat peanuts.
So I was filming this. How should I adjust my language? I was pretty out of it one night, and I'm like, I'm going, ice cream. There must be ice. We had ice cream man come earlier. We have ice cream. So we look in the thing, and there's Choco Tacos, and I'm reading the ingredient list, and it's like chocolate, ice cream, cone, board. Oh, focus, you need to read this ingredient list. So I start again. Chocolate, yeah, it's fine, I get it, yada yada, let's eat it. So I'm eating it, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good, this is going well. Halfway through the thing, I'm like, wait a second, hold on a minute. And then at the end of the, there's such little peanut, it's like a peanut dust they put on the top. There's barely any actual peanut. I thought I was eating tiny like Rice Krispie treat things, but now it was just little tiny peanut bits. And it was at the bottom of the ingredient list. I feel that should be higher up on the ingredient list, above like guar gum and just like palm seed oil. I think peanut should be higher on the list. Nope. That's fun. I tried to.
Seed oil allergy.
I'm sure. I have friends who are allergic to root beer, and I'm like, how? It's all fake. It's like synthetic. How are you allergic to it? So I tried to hide it from my boyfriend, but he counted the Choco Tacos and went, "Did you eat Choco Taco? How do you know it's peanuts?" I'm like, I now do know that. Yes. Fox, when's the last time you ate poison?
I think it was in Germany, but it wasn't poison. It was just alcohol poisoning, which I guess is a poison. So Dusseldorf, several years ago, I go on my own, thinking it'd be brave to take on 10 Germans in drinking, because I'm Scottish, and we take on like armies that are bigger than us. Okay, we sometimes win.
Take them
I didn't win this one. We started off with like cocktails, really strong cocktails. I didn't have anything to eat. We went to several bars. There's a bar in Dusseldorf called Das Fuchsenalt, which is basically like the fox, and they have like really questionable artwork of anthropomorphic foxes that you would think you just walked into like an E621 something. Like it was crazy. Like this is Germany. They don't hold back on anything. Like
Germany's pretty raunchy.
yeah.
Yes.
You basically sit down at the table, and rather than order your beer, they bring beer to you, and as soon as it's finished, they'll just keep on bringing you more. You have to forcibly tell them to stop bringing you beer, otherwise they'll just keep doing it. We had maybe 6 or 7 each of those. I went into a punk bar at the very end of it, where Night Fox brought out what's called Jägermeister. I'm sure you've seen that over here as well.
What is
That
known
was
as?
that was the big mistake. That was dumb because I then ran downstairs. I then had to throw up in the toilet. There was this angry cleaning lady shouting at me. One of my German friends had to come up to her and explain to her that I was Scottish, and then she started laughing. And that was it. Like we went home. I threw up in the car twice. My puke is still on the autobahn somewhere as well. And I didn't eat for like a day and a half because it was so bad. That was the last time I got poisoned. And I never did it again. I learned from my mistakes.
That is your problem. You keep committing the same errors over and over again.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess we're started then. We're doing it.
Yep.
Fantastic. Alright, so we'll talk briefly. We'll talk at length about some things. And if we will have some like a question and answer portion. But if at any point you want clarification on what we're talking about, feel free to you raise a hand. We will stop. We would love clarifying questions so we can tell whether or not you're interested in what we're talking about. So
Where did we start?
the thing that stuck in my mind is we just got back from being able to record in a studio for me the first time doing a full project that I was involved in
Heavily.
He graciously brought me over to the UK to record a few songs on your last album, and that was my very first studio anything. But this was the first time where I was involved in the nitty gritty of it. I had to email some people and say we need these many musicians here at this time.
You had to work.
I had to organize.
Yeah.
I had to sign some.
You had
PayPal
responsibilities.
Responsibility.
That whole session went well to the point it was very scary. Like it went spookily well. Like we got all like the scratch tracks done in like the first day. We had the orchestra and the choir come in the second day. They both finished like well ahead of schedule to the point where we were actually just like screwing around saying everyone needs to sing on this track as well. We need to put in some more strings here and there.
Our reference point was how many hours did we spend recording the choir in London? Was it like 6 or 7
hours? Yeah.
7 hours recording for what? 3 songs?
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, we have 3. We might try to get 4, but we only have the minimum time is 3 hours. That's about what we can afford. So we're like, are you sure we'll be able to record? Oh, no problem. We'll probably be done early. And lo and behold, it only took 2/3 of the time because they could just walk in, sing the sheet music as if they've been singing it their whole life, and move on to the next bit.
There was a singer in the choir that sounded like Aretha Franklin came back down for one more song, sung, and then went back up to heaven because her voice was incredible.
We got her to do a couple like soul riffs over the stuff too.
Yeah. There's a lot of like there's quite a bit of gospel influence in a couple of the tracks. There's obviously some country stuff because we're in Nashville and we kind of had to go with that flow. It's kind of hard not to because it's kind of like all around you.
Yeah, we didn't intentionally become a country thing. I think my writing just has gotten countryer, so it worked out. And by the time we're like time for the Tennessee album, we've gotten quite. I don't know. Country scares me as a genre to talk about because it seems to be one of the ones that people have strong opinions on. Where when someone says like, "Oh, do you like music?" They're like, "Yes, I like everything but rap and country." So, like people throw that out. Like I hear that. I've heard that multiple times from many people. So I hate saying anything about country anything because then people go, "Oh no." It's really alt country, which is, by the way, if you like country music, that's where all the good country music is now. It's called alternative country, and it's just regular country music. Like, it's not Taylor Swift country music where it's a pop song that they put a little bit of over once. Country song now, it's like, no, that's a pop rock song. You just have a dobro in it. It's like legitimate country music, like how you would get in the 80s and 90s. Which is funny, if you go listen to 80s and 90s country music, you're like, this also doesn't... I think we could do an entire thesis program on defining what country music, like what counts.
My ex is living Texas.
When did the accents get so extreme? If you listen to old Garth Brooks, he doesn't sound country at all. And then if you listen to Brooks and Dunn nowadays, they're barely getting... that's what it sounds like to me. It's like, does anyone actually talk like that? Never did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But if
That's right, you didn't get to meet my dad.
did I southern it up at all in my takes this last weekend? I feel I was trying to.
You did great.
That was some of the highlights, actually, when my dad and your dad met. My dad has a very, very strong Scottish accent, and your dad is the most southern, redneckish kind of accent.
Your mom has a stronger accent. There's occasionally times I can't understand your mom.
They became really good friends. I don't know if they understood a word each other said.
No, they both drank, and that's
Yeah, they were drinking together.
that's the communication between Scottish people and the southern things. It's what we share in common. We're both alcoholics.
We took his parents to a honky tonk bar too.
I missed all the good stuff.
Well, you're going back.
Yeah, we're hoping. That'd be nice. The only reason we could afford the studio time in that is because we had a relatively successful Kickstarter, by the way. We aren't independently wealthy, and we don't have a label or anything. But if you can get a few thousand together, you can go to a studio, even a big deal one. Big deal one, because the super famous musicians can't hold up studios, and there's so many studios already that you can end up in world-class studios for cheap in quotes. But when you think about the fact that a micro-budget album is defined as I think under $100,000 of funding, and that's micro, but we were micro budget. So we were nowhere near 100,000. But you can get in there, and if you have a relatively small setup and you have people who know kind of what they're doing, you can get a record done in 2.5 days.
Yeah, we did it.
3 days if you bring in full-on classical ensembles. Yep.
We should talk about Jasper.
Jasper was our...
Oh yeah, Jasper.
So when you go there, we're emailing people going, oh, who do you need? What personnel do you need? It's okay, we need choir, we need the orchestra. But also, hey, can we get somebody around who knows the building and knows where stuff is?
He knows where the bathrooms are.
Yeah, knows how to set things up. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll get you a Pro Tools tech and assistant. But he's borderline a producer for all the work he was doing. He called us 11 o'clock at night before, hey, our session just wrapped. What do you guys want to do for tomorrow so I can set it up tonight? I'm like, we're coming in at 8 in the morning. You probably could have set tomorrow. I was like, nah, I want to make sure everything's ready. So he was there till, I don't know, probably 2 in the morning, moving mics around, setting up half a drum set. Then we show up, he's already there. Hey guys, what's up? Good morning.
I don't think, did he go home or did he just sleep in the
don't.
studio? Because there's a lot of comfy couches in the lounge. You probably just slept in.
We weren't done that night until 10 p.m. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to go set up for the orchestra now, which is a dozen microphones.
40 set.
You got to move around all these wood panels, hang these boom things. How do every music stand you attach the light to, and then it has the thing and power plug.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he worked that hard for us. There's no way we paid him enough for the work that he did.
I think with people that work in big studios like that, they're often used to working with big, huge name artists who are quite demanding, are always requiring this needs to be 100% accurate, this has to be 100% perfect, and they're very nitpicky, and they're like, oh, I want to do that bit again, and they spend 2 hours doing the same bit over. I think with Jasper, we were just so chilled out, we were so relaxed about everything, we didn't put any pressure on him whatsoever, and I think that kind of shone through. He seemed to have much more of a good time. He seemed to be much more chilled out himself, and I think that actually benefited us as well.
Oh, he loved it.
Yeah, he loved it to the point where at the very end of the session, we brought him in a bottle of scotch just as a thank you. He doesn't normally drink, so near the end we all take a we take a shot of whiskey, and we drink it, and then within a few minutes, his southern drawl just came right out.
He was like, "Are we gonna shoot this?"
We're gonna shoot this. It was, oh, I can't do it, but
I forget he was from Tennessee. When he first called me on the phone, I thought it was just like a 75-year-old man with an extreme southern accent. Then you get there and he's this like smartly dressed, like early 30s guy with very clean cut hair.
yeah.
He's in flannel, but it's like dress flannel with button in it.
And under by our drummer was drawing like persona pictures of everyone who was working in there. He drew Pepper, he drew me, he drew like a bunch of others. But he also drew Jasper. He just gave him a persona and he gave it to him. Jasper's eyes was just like, this is incredible. Like, when can I see you guys again? And we told him about MFF, and he's actually looking to get time off to go to MFF. So
If he did, that'd be good.
we managed to recruit another one.
Friends.
All right. Hope he knows what he's getting himself into.
It's like if you hired like a building remodeler, like I want to have my house remodeled, and you just walk around your house going like, I think this should be like this, and then the dude you hired just goes, ta-da, and it is. that was him, but with sound. Like, can we make the drums like this? And he's like, it's done. It's already
Magic.
It's complete. He operated Pro Tools at like a telepathic level.
Oh yeah.
Except for click tracks, because Pro Tools is the worst program.
For click checks.
The biggest stress we had was a combination of getting our fried chicken delivered,
That was the biggest hassle.
and making a click track that sounded like, not go, 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 but go, 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 go. That's all we wanted. And out of a $12,000 program such as Pro Tools, you think that would be easy. But no, you have to like manually, we made the two, and then you had to copy and paste the same thing. I'm like, why don't we just write it out? Like, what, come on, all right. If this was Logic, my program, I know how to do that in seconds. It's easy. Meters you slide. How many hertz do you want the click? Do you want a
Abbey.
whoop or a whoop?
Abbey Road used Pro Tools as well.
Everyone does. Everyone uses a combination of
all the
a.
studios use
They have a Mac Pro running Pro Tools, which it's like we need the Mac hardware, but we need the weird clunky PC program. Don't use Macs, purpose-built. I don't know. I'm sure there's reasons. I'm sure there's a reason Logic isn't as good. I just don't know what it is.
Tell them about the time you broke your foot at Eurofarms.
That's been told.
How did you break your foot?
It's an easy story. Like, we were doing a show at Eurofarms. I'd never been in Europe ever, and I'm going as hard as I possibly can, trying to be interesting. And
Trying to be interesting.
because they don't react a lot over there, and I couldn't tell if it's because if they didn't understand what I was saying, which is some of it, or if they're just a very reserved audience. And that's even compared to furry cons, which are very, very reserved audiences already. I was jumping around like as crazily as I could, and last song, I'm just doing the Running Man, because it's one of like two dances I can do while still like trying to play guitar or sing. And I just I get a weird step, I step on my own foot, and I roll my foot hard enough that I break one of the little bones on the inner part of my foot. And then I'm like, the song ends, and I go, alright everybody, it's been us. I'm going to be over there. I'm not going to be able to walk myself because I'm pretty sure I just broke my foot. And they're all like, haha, and I'm like, please bring medical staff. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry.
You just wanted to use one of those cool wheelchairs.
They had a robotic, they had an electric, that's the word. They had like an electric scooter thing, not quite a wheelchair, but like a rascal scooter. They're like, here, take this. I'm like, I don't have a cast, I just look like a jerk who's rolling around in a scooter with a shoe off. And I got through the next 2 days, broke foot, got home, I had one of the like brace boot thing, strapped myself into that. And after a couple months, it was fine. Probably, it's alright.
I think it was the best part for me was just seeing him getting paraded in the wheelchair, like along the lobby, and everyone just cheering, saying, "Yay!"
That was, yeah, because everyone knew what was going on at the time,
Yeah.
because they had the context. And then once I'm out of that, people forgot the show happened, and they're like, what? What's this American doing?
One thing about like Eurofarms that we really appreciate is the fact that people really come to the shows there. Like we always have a good crowd.
They do a charity show that's ticketed, and it's $10 to go, and they cap it at $200, and we don't even have to try to advertise it. It just sells out every time.
Yeah.
They just go.
Cool. The Germans are right behind it.
they get weirded out that they're like, yeah, in America, people don't really go to the events. They just kind of hang out at the con. Like, what? Why? I'm like, 'cause this is the con. You sit at the bar and yell at each other. That's most of it. Oh, there's this first dude. Let's get the pictures. All right, back to standing around. That's what I do at American cons too. I barely go to events. We might wander into the dance. Dance comes popular, floor wars.
Oh yeah, we're apparently we're judging.
Why do they have me judge things I can't do?
Same, but it's fine.
It's like Pepper will be judging this aeronautic engineering contest. Will I?
I don't know, you're a quick study.
I'm going to use the word musicality and try to say the words explore the space as much as possible.
And we can give points on rhythm.
Good
Apart from
use
that, I
of
don't know
space.
anything about it.
Good use of space.
Good uses. Very cute.
Very
That was a good dance.
You are very cute. Next person. That's my
That's all I have to
expert
say.
opinion.
God, what else has happened? Like, I know everything has happened this year, but I'm trying to figure out what other drama has unfolded.
I'm trying to take this literally, like, have we messed up traveling anywhere? Tales actually from the road.
Tales from.
We haven't broken down or anything, nothing too fascinating in the car.
Although our drive to Galaxy was pretty.
Maybe any weird sights on the road or cool things? Either one.
I mean, like, there's just your regular, you're in a city thing, like, oh, some prostitutes came up to us, and we're like, but that's, I feel like that, oh, we were in Germany, and these, like, two well-dressed ladies come up, and we're, like, at this point, the regular fence is, like, there's 3 entrances to a park. It's an outdoor, it's a park. And they closed 3 of the fences, but not one of the fences, and it was the farthest away from us, so we're like, it's only this high, so we're just gonna jump over this. So we're jumping over that, and then 2 well-dressed women come up, and they're just like, hey, what's that? But it's in German. So they're just like, oh, like, you can tell them, like, hey guys, what's up? What's happening? Like, well, we're going to this bonfire. We're all pretty gay, but you can come with us if you want.
We're all pretty.
And they're just like, ah! And we leave.
Was that the beer garden?
Yes.
Was that the soup night?
That was, every night was the soup night.
So that there's this vending machine that just gives you the most amazing soup.
It's not
amazing.
amazing.
There's no more context. It's just that.
It's
Like,
just soup.
It's one of those coffee machine things that like drops the cup and then you get stuff and you choose how much, like you hit the cream button or the sugar button. It's one of those like crappy coffee machines that also, the bottom 3 are chicken noodle, tomato, and just vegetable. It was just green broth.
They're all broth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other ones had the
Machine that sells noodles.
There wasn't really noodles in it.
There were a couple. We were
Just here.
I didn't get the noodle.
It's like they took the if you make a ramen packet and then like dump out the ramen dust that's left in the bottom of the bag. That was the noodles in the noodle soup. And we were comparing. Some people got like an inch of it was in German, so of mit Nudeln with noodles. And then other times you get 1 noodlin. That's all you had.
I know.
And it cost 60 cents, 60 euro cents. And we were
It was
just,
a pretty hearty soup as
we
well.
were drinking it, we consumed it, we weren't wasting this soup. But we could not stop yelling about the soup machine, celebrating the soup machine,
Worshipping.
combining flavors. If you could get a spoon to stir it, it was better, because like it didn't really get stirred up that much, so it started out very weak, and then ended with just the saltiest bomb.
Yeah, it was like the tomato one at the bottom was just like basically tomato powder. It was.
Well, it just puts powder and then a hot water, and that's your soup. And there's nothing to stir with anywhere nearby, so you're like trying to swirl
You gotta
it.
swirl it in your mouth like
in a way.
mouthwash to get a taste.
That's cool. Yo, I don't want the soup, just give me the powder and a cup of hot water. I'll make the soup in my mouth. So security had to tell us to all settle down about the soup
Oh
machine.
yeah, you got told off in the bouncy castle, didn't you?
We also got told off with the bounce. We found out that whenever like the British and Americans hang out together, we end up causing trouble. So like, there's a good reason we've been separated. They had a bouncy castle. They had a moon bounce, and it was like a platform, and then above that there was like a lion, and the lion's mouth would open, and you could crawl into the lion mouth, and there's a slide, and then you're like, okay, I guess
This is not touching any fish whatsoever.
furries. But the mouth stopped quite opening all the way, so it was like 5 feet, 6 feet up. Actually more, it was like 7 or 8. I had to reach up. So we were like boosting each other, like trying to climb in and get in the thing. So now we have like 9 fat guys clambered, pile into this lion mouth thing. And we're so heavy, we just like tilts to the side, just kind of for a while. And we're all just wrapped up in nets and like nylon. Just, you can't see, it's night out. If you were claustrophobic, it would be a nightmare. And then we eventually tumble, and we hear, we're all like, we're done. We've been doing this for like half an hour, dying laughing. It was very funny. And then we're putting our shoes on, and we hear, please, the bouncy castle is closed. And like, we didn't really hear what.
Castle is closed.
We just heard a German accent, something on the lines of like, okay, we need to knock it off and get out of here. I don't know what he said, but we should leave now. And that's how you don't end up in trouble ever, is as soon as any authority figure shows up, just go. Just it's out. Party, just turn off all the music, we'll just leave and scatter. Security walks towards me, I walk the other way.
Talking by true experience.
Just get out of there, it's fine. You might end up proving your point, but also you'll end up, ugh. I guess that's why they keep letting me come back. It's like, he causes issues, but then when you tell him to stop, he just stops.
Yeah, he does eventually. It's the fact that you have to see it in the first place.
It's just quitting while you're ahead. Oh, when the prostitutes were talking to us, we were coming back at 5 in the morning with, God, was it 5?
Yeah, it was 5.
4:45, 5 in the morning, and we're like, oh, all the beers, there's no beers available, so we go to the local, like, there's like a bottle shop, and you can just drink on the streets in Europe, so we just, this is like, how many can we possibly hold in our hands? And we go to get them, and they're like, oh, we don't take cash, so this German dude behind us is just like, I'll pay for it, boo! Throw us down to 20, because we're getting cheap beers, and they were like, awesome, man, you're great, here's one of them. It's like,
Yeah. We're going to Australia again next year as well. And you've been a fur dude before, right?
I was, like 3 years ago. Australia's weird, because it's just America, but with accents. It's not horribly different, to me at least.
It's very far away. Which one? So it's called, it's a convention called Furry. And they're usually right about late April, early May sort of time.
Late May, early June.
Oh, is it? Oh, they keep pushing their.
It's different every year. We are last week of May. They moved it specifically so my school would be done with not murder. Well, yeah, because I can't just take off 2 weeks. This would be like the longest trip I've ever taken. I'm lucky enough that I get to go places, but usually it's, you show up, you do the show, you leave. You know, like I had 2 days in Germany. Like one in the when I went over for I was there for
recording. I think you managed one, and you had like one also for the recording session just there because it was Labor Day.
Yeah, I got Labor Day off. Yeah, I was lucky that I took Tuesday, which they weren't happy about. Run back on Wednesday.
Yeah. Hey, you got. So, how many times has the principal actually pulled you in because of that song?
Oh, we can't talk about that on camera. Like 4.
But yeah, that's it. No more discussion.
It's like, stop doing it, okay. Stop doing it, okay.
Because that's it. I'm like, I feel real bad about it. I'm very sorry, everyone. What do you want?
You are not sorry.
Because there's no action you can take. It's like, it's on the internet.
Absolutely not. I mean,
I can just go, turn it off. Just deactivate.
Turn off the internet.
Just deactivate that one thing.
I guess we can just open it up to questions now, because we're probably just going to prattle on about any stupid.
That's what we do all the time anyway. I just don't have my hat at the moment. Yeah, it's the only difference.
Where's your hat?
In the room.
How long have you guys been doing this for?
Like performing together?
Yeah.
So our first proper show was at FA United, what, 2 years?
I think it was 3 at this point.
Was it 3 years ago?
2000.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
End of 2015, well, second half of 2015.
It's around August sort of time in 2015. Yeah, but originally I was supposed to do a concert with Colson, but he had to pull out. And I was like, okay, what do I do? I was probably going to do the show myself, but then I realised that Pepper was going to be there as well. Like, I'd known of his music, but I hadn't properly like done like a proper show with them. I think we performed on stage like at Megaplex like earlier that year.
Like 2 songs.
Yeah, we did like we did Two-Headed Man and
The only time I've ever performed that song live.
yeah, Two-Headed Man and Fourth Step, I think it was.
Yeah, I just kind of crashed into that band. And apparently left good enough an impression with somebody. They contacted
You were
me
promoted
again.
from the stairwell to the stage.
Total furry music I've been doing for now 8 years. So the first 5 were there was a lot of playing in panel rooms, a lot of playing just in the hallway until you get yelled at. A lot of just like
DJs.
walking around.
You DJ'd as well.
I DJ'd like twice.
My kind.
You walk around the panel with your thing like, hey, you want to hear my CD? Like you're one of those. All right. Has anyone else encountered? Has anyone encountered that urban NPC where they're like, listen to my music, and then you're like, this is pretty cool, and they're like, give me $10. I'm like, okay, take
no,
it
it's
back.
like die, Fletcher.
It's like I want to both hear your music and give you maybe like $1.
I will give you $1 to shut up.
She just like whenever someone does that, I'll just be like, I'll trade you, and then I want money.
Yeah, August 2015, I guess. And it was after that show we went up to a room party, and it was Frostbite's girlfriend, who are now married, that suggested the name Foxes and Pepper.
Oh, wow. Yeah. This is the wine and cheese party, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. Very, very, very sophisticated.
The best event at FAU is called the wine and cheese party because everyone just gets wrecked, but it's wine and cheese. It's fancy.
It's good wine, it's good cheese.
Proto Collie, the guy who looks the least like someone to, he has this like, he's like as tall as me but weighs 100 pounds less, and he has giant hair. And then he's like, yes, we'll be organizing the wine and cheese party.
He's a cool dude.
I miss New Jersey.
Really?
That was the fun. Yeah, I like New Jersey as a state, which is funny because I don't like Florida. And I know you're supposed to not like New Jersey. Because it's like a meme to hate New Jersey. I think New Jersey's fine. I think it's doing the best it can. And a lot of my friends live there. I just don't want to have to.
I fall in love with Minnesota. It's really fun stuff.
Well,
I think genuinely this is a really beautiful state. It's really nice and peaceful out there. It's pretty, it's clean, it's a lot of green. People are really friendly.
It's only been here for like 12 hours.
It's got this Canada syndrome. It's like the closer you get to Canada, the friendlier it gets, and the further away you get from Canada, the meaner it gets. So that's why Florida sucks. Everyone's just very angry.
I can relate.
Well, the drivers in Florida are really angry. Some nice people. I like Orlando.
Have you been to Wisconsin?
Yeah. Yeah, we've been to First Squared in Milwaukee.
Yeah, in Milwaukee. Yeah. We've done like 3 things in Wisconsin in the last year. I had a good time in Milwaukee. I think that city is underrated. It's really small. I would say, like, is it common for, are we close enough to Milwaukee that people here have been to Milwaukee? We have?
Yeah.
Couple?
Yeah.
So is there ever a reason for like Minnesota people to drive down and go hang out in Milwaukee?
No.
Across the cheddar curtain.
That's good.
That's what we call it in Illinois, going up above the cheddar curtain.
It's pretty
Above
cool.
the cheddar.
Yeah.
Gotta remember that.
I'm from Wisconsin.
I mean, they do have good cheese. I've got to say. You stop by there, like I bought like a shit ton of cheese, and I managed to smuggle it back into the UK, and my case still smells of that same cheese. My mum and dad were very happy with it.
UK, you can get so much more intense cheeses. I'm gonna try, we'll make more eat strange cheeses in Australia. Moore thinks Moore's my boyfriend, who I hate. I like him a lot, but he's such a bummer. He doesn't, like he's like huge weeaboo, so we're like, we're gonna go to Japan, and you're gonna come with us. I'm going to Japan. He's like, I hate everything, and it's too hot, and I can't eat anything because I don't like fish. And
I don't like food.
I don't like any food. Like more, just eat rice, like something you can eat.
They would split up a bunch of times. We would go up to Pepper and say, Pepper, where's more? And Pepper would be like, I don't know, I hate him. This is the tough one.
We're done for a bit. You just set him off like, go over there, and then you stay.
I'm sure there's a point you were walking so fast, and we were trying to keep up with you, and you walked so fast we got onto a train, and by the time the others caught up, the train doors just shut and we left.
That happened once, because Moore would move. Because Moore never used public transit, he didn't understand, like, oh no, dude, those doors open, and then they just close, and they go. Like, they aren't looking for you to, like, oh, is everybody on? Like, if you missed it.
In Japan, like, the trains are, like, the most efficient thing you'll ever come across.
It's like they're run by several different
It's
companies.
like the Borg built the trains over there. Like,
I just wish they would unify the company structure, because, like, you can get on, it's like if in the same city they have, I mean, I guess it's like this even in Chicago, where it's like, oh, that's not the right kind of train for your train pass, you need this kind of company's train to use your, but you can buy this other train pass. I'm like, can't we just make this all one, like an easy pass system, but for all the trains, where the right person gets the right money, but I have the same loop card for everything. Why can't we just do that? But unite it with the buses, do that too, everything. Right?
they do have one pretty cool thing though. I mean, if you ever look at going to Japan, or if you've been to Japan, they have what's called the JR Pass.
But you can only use JR trains.
Yeah.
So you spend your whole day going, is this a JR train?
But those JR trains go practically everywhere in the country. That's how we went up north to go to like Fox Village and stuff. Like you get the JR Pass for like $250 for a week, and we easily would have spent over $1,000 if we had.
Because we use the bullet trains for some. You can get bullet trains for like long distance. Well, I can't even say long distance. It is long distance trips. We went the equivalent of like Phoenix to LA. What would have been like a 6-hour drive in an hour and a half on a train, because it goes 200 and some miles an hour, and you don't even have to wear a seatbelt. Like, you're just zipping along and you're just walking. There's like no bumps, or it's just perfectly flat. Because if anything was going to be on the track, it would just be like liquefied. But
so basically, when you're in the train stations and they're not stopping, they actually slow down to 140 miles an hour.
And it's still terrifying. They'll whip by like 3 tracks over just so nobody can possibly jump in front of the damn thing. And then
I don't know if it would even do anything though, because it has this weird slopey thing at the front. Like if you're there, you just like get launched into orbit.
It is the scariest whooshing, screeching, and just blur of.
Yeah, when they go past, like, your ears pop from the pressure change and everything. It's kind of
so
crazy.
weird.
It's nice. And then when you're on them as well, when it's doing like 200 odd miles,
You can barely feel it.
You just see the countrise where like
You see the trees are just like just a green smudge, and be like, well, that was 3 miles I just looked at. I blinked. And then a lady comes around, you want some sake? And I'm like, sake. Disposable plastic bottle, disposable plastic cup, plastic wrapped onto the top so you can.
And the booze out there was pretty cheap as well. That surprised me. I thought it was going to be expensive in terms of like booze and whatnot, but it was very, very cheap.
It's truly free.
Like cigarettes are very cheap there as well.
Cigarettes are $1.75 a pack.
Yeah.
I don't even smoke tobacco, but I still look at the prices. Because in Australia, it's $22 a pack. I mean, that's their money, so it's like 16 US, but still. And they have machines for it, so I'm like, what are you, pouring in $25 worth of quarters to get this pack of cigarettes? And it's not even quarters, it's 20-cent pieces, so there's even more of it. Just your blank box cigarette thing comes out because they can't put color on it, because that's an enticing form of advertisement, so it just says Marlboro Reds in black and white.
Take all that time to put the money in, it just says sold out.
Stop killing yourself.
Stop killing yourself. $25 dues.
I was in a fight with Moore, and I decided it was time to smoke a cigarette, even though I never do that. I was in Japan.
You smoked it? Oh,
I was in Japan.
You smoked a cigarette?
He gave me a menthol.
We
it was different.
We were very, 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 very drunk.
I was very upset because he wouldn't tell me what bar we were at. And I'm like, bar, I'm in Japan, I don't know where anything is. You have
So
to tell me.
basically what happened was he was very upset. We sat at the bar, smoked a cigarette, and then he went on the karaoke machine and started singing amazing love songs.
No, I screamed All-Star by Smash Mouth. It was bad. It was the worst karaoke I've done in my whole life. It was disgusting. But I just walked to the bartender and I'm just like, hey, sumimasen. He's just like, it's like he didn't, it's like he already had just like, just ready, and take it out, and I just like put like a yen, like $1, 100 yen thing, and he's just like, because I remember, oh yeah, cigarettes are like free.
Yeah, that probably costs like
in the US it's like $1 a cigarette.
dime.
So it's like, here's a nickel, thank you for the cigarette. And smoke it in the bar, and I'm like, oh, man, big. I don't know. I think the cigarettes are different over there because it didn't.
They take out a lot of the they refine them a little bit more, which is probably a good thing. I think that's why they're so cheap. They're not as concerned about people dying as much.
Gotta ring out all the tobacco industry. They've put all their focus on like Thailand and like South Asia where there's no smoking laws, and so there's like 8-year-olds who are just like pack-a-day smokers. So it costs like nothing and nothing's stopping them.
No.
They had a thing where they were like, here's the school, and then at the bottom of the hill of the school, they have you can buy your candies, chips, cigarettes. And the kids would come out for lunch, get a pack of chips, cigarettes, and then like go back.
Pack of cigarettes.
Go back to junior high.
Back to class. Yeah, they had those like vending machines like scattered all over Tokyo as well. Like just randomly walking down the
for
street.
drinks, like sodas, or not soda, but
Coffee.
yeah, you could get weird. It's just cold, refreshing drinks.
Isn't
it's
there a
so,
vending machine for everything in Japan?
yeah,
Yeah,
depending on
there's-
how hard you look.
There was a vending machine for underpants.
That's the big, like, ooh, Japan.
They think of everything.
Like, in America, you can get a vending machine with a car in it. I know that because
Vending-car.
it's called Caravana. It's the major sponsor of my favorite soccer team. And they really will let you, like, it's like a tower. Looks like a parking garage, but it's all clear and lit up so you can tell there's cars in it. And they'll give you a giant comedy coin, and you get to walk up to the thing, you put in your, like, amulet, and then like, your car goes there. And it still costs like $35,000, like it's still a car price you would have to pay, but you get to drive out of a vending machine with it. And I'm like, where do we sign the paperwork for this? It's not a disposable item. We only found one beer vending machine in Japan. They exist, they're just harder to find.
Yeah.
But every single block is soda, Gatorade, iced tea. Well, I mean, not Gatorade, but it's the Pocari Sweat.
Pocari Sweat, yeah.
Which is a slightly cloudy, clearish, lemony beverage.
Cafe effort.
Cafe effort.
Yeah,
They
we
put
should
in
talk,
effort.
talk about that. So we came across this cafe in Sumida province, which is the part of Tokyo we had our Airbnb in.
Gonna get
And,
some slow water.
They actually focus on making westernized food. So when a bunch of 6 or 7 white people just decided to walk in there, like their owner his eyes just went, oh. I was like, this moment has finally come. I get Westerners to try my food. So we all sat down and there was no menus in English. We had to like use like our Google Translate app to like video like all the things. It would give us like very bad translations. We would see something like da 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 melon, da 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 da, and then like da 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 cheese toasty. So
Cheese toast, cinnamon toast.
yeah, so we basically order all the Western food we could. Like I would have a
Or
cheese toast
pancake.
every time and pancakes. And it was really good.
The toast, this is just like cinnamon toast. I would expect like cinnamon toast things, some butter. It was a piece of bread that was not getting 2 inches thick and probably like 5 by 8. Like it was like an open-faced deep dish pizza looking piece of bread, and then just slathered in like syrup, cinnamon, icing, cut. It was super soft. It was basically giving me like a sheet cake. And that was breakfast.
Yeah.
And I asked for French toast, and he's like, oh, this is closer to... It was a lot of French, not a lot of toast. It was like an egg dish with a bit of bread. It was super soft. He's like, oh, you would call this eggy toast. I'm like, okay. Like, it was more like a flan than... it was great. Like, it's exactly what I wanted. But it took us till the 3rd day to realize that, oh, this is out of the ordinary. They don't usually make, like, lattes and pancakes like you would expect in the West. Because we looked around, all the Japanese people were eating like cold noodle dishes, which you'll get a lot in the morning over there, and I'm like, I just don't want that in the morning. I want something warm and sweet. But they got the Japanese food after. We were the only people ordering like melon ice cream floats.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was super good. And we went there like every day except one day because I think when we went
They
to
were
Fox
closed.
Village we had to get up super early, and they weren't even open at that point. There was we got there early and we literally camped outside waiting for them to open like it was a rock concert.
And our friend, we were very slowly figuring out, we're like, wait guys, I think this place is closed on Sunday or something. That's what another thing. Close on Sunday. That's a very Western thing to do too.
Yeah, it was very authentic.
It was
Closed for church.
We came in the last day with our fursuit heads and we took pictures with the guy. We were like, dude, you're great. Here's the thing. Here's your CDs. And my Google review of that, because if you go use Google Maps in Japan, like, it kind of exists, but they have their own like local apps for that sort of thing, just find stuff. So if you go on Google Maps and submit something in English, the only people who are going to see it are other tourists. So I'm like, go to Cafe Effort, very kind and patient with Westerners, and it's like, your review has been seen 1,000 times. Like, wow. I'm actually contributing to Google, because if you look at the title, it's like 9 kanji in a row, and I'm like, wow, can't. So if you had to go touch a thing and then look at a review to be in English to then actually find out what you're looking at. Because you'd be like, is this a restaurant or an arcade or an auto shop? Like, which one is the right one? Then you look for pictures of drinks and you're like, okay, that's probably the right place.
Yeah, on the last day as well, when we're going around in fursuit. I mean, well, you had your fursuit. Didn't Herbs have his as well? Yeah.
Almost everybody.
One thing that really I found funny was they were doing a bunch of roadworks as we were going by, and there was like this guy in a steamroller. And Pepper started running, and it looked like the steamroller was chasing him. It was right out of Roadrunner. It was like this giant coyote getting chased by a steamroller.
The slowest chase.
Yeah.
We stayed, there was road work every day. We'd see them.
I figured like when we went by in like our first two heads, like the guy in the steamroller would be concentrating and looks over and he's not looking where he's going and he just runs like one of his workers over. he's not focusing on it.
Oh yeah, like the reason I'm in the street with the steamer, there's no sidewalk for 90% of Japan that isn't like the downtown tourist area. There's a sidewalk there just, to get people around. But if you're in the residential areas, you just kind of walk to the side of the street and then like the car will go around you. It's
and then we're at a train station. You had your suit on and so did Herbis.
Because we were so mad we couldn't find Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
Well, we found it, but we were like, we can just get right there. And we realized, oh, it takes like hours and hours, and you have to like have a car to really get to the mountain.
Fuji, yeah.
So we're on train.
So instead we're just sitting at the train station. He's got his fursuit head on. One of the trains pulls up, and this was like straight from an anime scene. 20 Japanese schoolgirls like just came out, all in like full uniform, everything, and they saw him, and they instantly crowded towards him. There was a couple of guys there as well, like trying to act really cool because all the girls around him. They're like, haha, yeah, I am Goku. Crowd around me. And then they see Pepper, and they're like, ah. And the girls just head towards him. They crowded around him, and they were all getting selfies with him, calling him Ginger Kaiju. It was the most adorable thing I had ever seen in my life. We have it on video somewhere, for sure.
I had a good time with that. That was nice.
It was fun.
It's the only thing that salvaged that what would have been a weird, well, it wouldn't have been like a bad day, but it was definitely the most difficult because we couldn't find where we were trying to go. It was raining the whole time.
Oh, the weather's
we had all our fursuit shit because we were like, we're going to take pictures on the mountain. And it was so cloudy, we couldn't even get to the place where you could like see the mountain in the back because it was so cloudy, rainy, and foggy. So then we went and ate some raw chicken.
You ate raw chicken. That was all on you.
It's not raw. It's like brined. So it's like it's not cooked with heat, but it's like in the vinegar and the salt.
So basically, the vinegar kills the bacteria instead of the heat. So I guess it's perfectly safe to eat, but it's still.
It was really good.
It's terrifying.
It's actually good. It was expensive. It was like $15 for like half a chicken breast cut over thin slices. But it was the chickeniest thing I've ever eaten. And it wasn't goopy like I thought it was going to be. Not to mention the horse.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll sell you horse meat. It's not a big deal. It's fine. It's like a beef fish thing. Like I've eaten cow when I've eaten deer, and the horse is like a halfway between the two.
I never had that.
I couldn't imagine you eating that.
Most adventurous I think I got was eating like some kind of squid sushi or something.
Or the octopus balls.
Not actual octopus balls, but octopus meatballs.
Yes. It's like a scrambled egg. Right. Sorry. There's no limit to the rambling that I will do about Japan.
We've got like 10 more minutes.
Highly recommend.
Anyone has any more questions? Comments?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually have a question for you, Pepper. I follow your Twitter feed, at least whenever I see it. And I know earlier this year and into last year, you were really a vocal advocate for the teachers
movement going on.
Yeah, it's months after. So I just wanted to ask if there are any things you saw like motivational stuff like being activists for doing, as well as maybe ending with. I just got out of college, so I'm trying to make myself get out there to try and help causes. That's a cause I also am behind, and some advice for getting behind those things, knowing where to go and how to help. I know it's not necessarily furry themed, but
I'm the worst at, well, I mean, I do more than most people, but I still feel like I don't do like anything. I do what seems to be the bare minimum, which is make my opinions relatively clear online and unambiguous, so people who follow me at the very least either need to be aware of what I'm putting out and have to react to it somehow, or can stay away if they realize that I'm not the kind of person I want to be around. I think it's important to let people who are in weird cultural minorities, let them know that, hey, the way you think is not necessarily what everyone else is. Maybe take a look at that. Which very rarely happens to someone actually get introspective and go, why do I believe what I believe? Maybe I should reevaluate all of this. But you could be the 1 in 1,000 people who you have that tiny bit of effect on. If you have protests if you're in the Minneapolis area and they're like, we're doing a protest, just show up. Showing up to protest is cool. If it's a thing you care about. If you're big, if you're like, I want to be in the climate change protest. If it shows up, be at it. If there's a campaign for a candidate that you think is shitty, counter-protest this thing. Just like make it, because all the undecideds who are running around will look at things like crowd size, even though it doesn't technically, having a big crowd doesn't make your policy good, but it makes you stick out in people's mind. If they're like, oh, who's black? That's why Bernie Sanders became a big deal. So like, man, sure, a lot of people want to hear this old Jewish guy talk. Why? What's happening? And then they look into his policy, and then you can build traction that way.
I think from what I've learned and seen, like Arizona especially doesn't seem to be particularly favorable for teachers.
Arizona, the teacher thing is just, it's only been bad news since we went on strike, and then we got, they were going to give us a 1% raise, and we're like, how about 20? And they're like, how about 10? So we got a 10% thing, but it's not a direct thing anyway. It's like a one-time funding release from the state, which isn't going to continue. So we're trying to fight for a consistent funding source. And they were like, okay, we're going to raise taxes on, if you make $250,000 a year or more, your property tax is going to go up by like 3%. So it'll cost like a couple $1,000s extra a year. If you make $250,000 more a year, or if you make $500,000 more and you're a couple. So if you're a household, you have to make more than $500,000 a year to qualify. We're getting it put on the ballot. Got 270,000 signatures. Everything's great. That's twice as many signatures we need. We're going to vote on it. And then the Arizona Supreme Court just said, no. We're like, but why? And they're like, we don't think your explanation was clear enough of your description of what the thing is. We thought it was a bad description. So even though you got 250,000 signatures and it's such a slam dunk piece of legislation. It's like, we're going to directly fund schools by taxing rich people. And they're like, Chamber of Commerce, we got your back, rich people. Don't worry, you won't have to pay another $1,000 a year of your $500,000 in income at least. Don't worry, millionaires, you're fine. Arizona always takes care of their millionaires. So we're back to just nothing. And then we're going to have to, in another year, when it gets annoying again, we're going to go on strike again, and then it becomes this dumb cycle of like, guys, can't we just make a union so we can stop striking every 5 minutes? It's like, the word union scares me because I live in Arizona. I don't know. It's like, if you go to Arizona, they will support every aspect of a union except for the name union. Once they find out you're describing a union, they're like, that must be bad. It's like, what if we all could collectively bargain over salary and benefits? And if we had a complaint, it wouldn't be you versus the school district, it'd be the United Teachers versus the school. And they're like, that all sounds good. It's like, well, bad news, it's a union. Oh. Union bad. It's like, guys, your bosses have a union.
I had it in Wisconsin a couple of years back. They busted up a bunch of teachers' unions.
Scott Walker.
Yeah, I remember because
what a guy.
Because I'm going to be a teacher, and I live in Wisconsin, and I remember one of my teachers got fired because he protested at one of those things.
It's even sketchier. I mean, we have the president talking.
I have a certificate in Illinois. I can't remember if I kept it up or not.
You can always
I don't want to take the test again.
If you go to Arizona, it takes like 5 minutes. They will certify you in a heartbeat. I don't know.
What would you say?
Protest while you can, because the president just said protesting should be illegal. the other day. So that might.
Isn't that like against?
It feels un-American to be anti-protest.
Yeah.
Because it's one of our things. It's one of our big ones.
Actually,
The
like
ability to
You
protest.
should write that in amendment.
in terms of
it's a
school
reg-
teaching,
Oh, wait,
It is.
it is.
first step.
State teacher? Yeah. If you had to pick a state to teach in at the moment, I mean, Massachusetts is always great, but you have to get a whole bunch more certifications because the competition's high, because the pay is really good. Pennsylvania is awesome, but competition's really high because the pay is really good. It's like trying to get a university track position. It's hard. But if you go to Arizona, you can get hired in 2 weeks. And if you want to live with a roommate and rent your whole life, you'll be reasonably comfortable. But if you want to have like your own established family and stuff, better have somebody who has a pretty significant second income. Or just have like 2 or 3 jobs like me. At least all my jobs are fun.
Yeah.
Like I really like teaching, I like doing this. I like singing at the church I sing at. That's
Your church is really freaking cool.
Church is
Singing at
chill.
church?
Yeah, if church musician is one of the most consistent, like money-making musician jobs.
Yeah,
you can
'cause it's
find
every
in
Sunday.
church. Yeah, set schedule or set
Plus, it's hard to
music.
find the musician.
So,
Yeah, you just have to find a church that has enough of a commitment to musical quality that they want to pay
Well.
people.
They don't pay me, but I still direct the hand-down choirs, so
Mm.
can't find a church organist, but that's a different issue.
The mega church in the area that everyone plays for free. And part of me wants to be like, guys, you are diluting the market right now by flooding it with free labor.
so going on, we've got like another panel tomorrow, right? Right, Char? What time is it at?
I'm not sure because,
I can tell you in 2 seconds.
yeah, I don't know, that schedule's not right because it's in the morning and I told them that we wouldn't do that early in the morning.
10:30 theoretically.
Yeah, I said.
Oh, okay.
They're making me do 2.
Yeah, but on this one, we're trying to get some samples of our newest album. So if you're not doing anything, if you're up and around, come and check it out. Because we'll probably play some stuff from Spread Thy Wings.
We already have stuff
Yeah.
from the session to here?
Yeah.
Did you not listen to what Ollie put in the chat?
I know, I've been flying.
You piece of shit.
They have the Dropbox too where he's going to start putting tracks in it, so by the morning we should have some. Plus we can have some photos and stuff up from the session.
Yeah, we have a million.
Oh,
yeah.
he has already put like a.
Bag of tails I sent with Cosmic.
No?
I sent a bag of tails for you guys.
That's cool.
You gotta yell
Stop calling
Cosmic.
it #2.
Wait,
I
what kind of tails?
I don't know fuzzy things they got.
Did you
Anyway,
guys-
masquerade.
Did you guys get tails?
I sent Cosmic with a whole couple bags of tails. You guys were supposed to deliver at the recording session.
I think we just forgot to give them to us. We'll see them again though.
Yeah, yell at them. Because they're from the masquerade. You're supposed to give them to participate.
I saw them at the thing, I won't.
Yeah, I didn't get any ducks this year either. Did you guys do the ducks?
I've beamed quite a few people with ducks.
Alright.
Darn duck.
Thank you everyone for,
You nailed that note there. That's great.
well I had 5 tries, of course I got one of them. It's weird because the whole band for the most part, like my first or second take will always be my best. Well, not always, but usually. For most of the time. And the rest of the band, it seemed to have worked out that their best takes were their last couple.
Mm-hmm.
So by then, I'm like, I already got 2 good takes, I don't want to yell my voice out anymore, I'm just going to mess around for this last take. So then when we're recording like the orchestra and stuff, he just pulls up the most recent take. And it's me fucking around, so they're like hearing me in their hands, going like, who's the singer? And I'm like, that's me.
During the whole session as well, the way the studio was laid out, they had the control room. I was in one side of it, Pepper was in the other, and then everyone in the middle would just listen to the both of us like bicker and fight, like every time we made a mistake or something.
This is how recording works.
Yeah, it's just how we're recording.
Because we hit play, and Fox is like, oh, do you want me to play along? I'm like, yes, Fox, that's how recording works.
We have a show, what, 3 o'clock?
Yep,
Main
3 o'clock.
stage. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it.
Silver Gattoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gattoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gattoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.